Yeah, that's right. I got a chair guy. And if you want him to be your chair guy too, I could make that happen. All right, let me move this up just a little bit. Yeah, this will be my second construction job, I said. This was a lie. The closest I had come to a construction job was a week I spent at a poorly organized Christian camp in rural New Jersey. At the time, me and 8 other 15-year-olds had to fix an ancient Appalachian woman's wheelchair ramp for Jesus. I spent most of the time poking around the trailer park we were based in. There was a lady who fed 30 stray cats a corpse-sized bag of cat food every day. And to me, that swarm was always going to be more interesting than learning the basics of deck construction. That's great, said Greg, the boss of a friend who was hiring me. Come by this Tuesday and we'll have you do demolition. I love demolition, I said. What? He said. I'll see you Tuesday, I said. And hung up. My friend Adam hooked me up with the job, and I paid cash, which sounded exotic and dangerous. I went to a thrift store and shopped in the construction section, picking up a neon construction shirt for a solar company, and considered cowboy boots. They were going to be for other occasions, but they were on sale. I was fully prepared to be crushed by this demolition job. I graduated top of my class in economics. I contracted at Google for 6 years, and I have the softest hands in a town whose entire vibe is soft hands. I felt sorry that this crew was getting me. They were demolishing 2 floors of an old house in Hancock Park so they could open up the space. They needed someone rugged and large to blow through walls. I, on the other hand, talk nonstop around new people and have the energy of a queer woman who saw me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the typo. I, on the other hand, talk nonstop around new people and have the energy of a queer woman who loves facts about birds and NPR. Many queer women have dated me, seen me, and I think thought, yeah, close enough. LA is the best place on earth to create a short film that destroys your friend group. I had just finished mine. I was now having trouble finding the motivation to apply to desk jobs, though. So they were stuck with me for the time being. In my mind, things were going too well. I liked my free time. I liked my friends. I felt accomplished socially and professionally, but was starting to run out of money. The other shoe needed to drop faster than it was. My plan was to do this job and have my soft body and mind be crushed by the social and physical realities of it. I would then use that feeling, channel it into despair, which ultimately would motivate me in my job search. I set my alarm for 5:50 on Monday night and found a cute combination flower and coffee shop where I could get a cappuccino and a pain au chocolat on the way to the construction site. The owner opened the shop because his mom always wanted a flower shop. I said, "You're living the dream." He said, "No, it's a nightmare." When I got to the site, everyone got out of trucks wheeling out their tools. I got out of my Honda Fit with a Patagonia backpack, treats, and hiking boots like a fucking low-T social worker getting his hours in before becoming a therapist. So you stand underneath this hole in the ceiling and you just wait for stuff to fall out. Then you bring that stuff to the dumpster out front, said my friend Adam, who got me the job. Okay. Also, don't breathe in the dust that much. What is it? Well, there's asbestos over there, but this stuff is mystery dust. It's old dust, Bubba, he said. Also, eventually we're going to be digging a hole, and you'll carry that dirt out, too. I waited for a bunch of tile and a shower knob to fall through the hole, and it did after about 30 minutes. Then I went outside, and I waited for about 15 minutes for the mystery dust to settle. Then I went back in to pick up what had fallen, which took me about 30 minutes, because I was still figuring out how to use a shovel. Someone talked to me about how old trucks are good trucks because they're good investments, and he did that for 30 minutes. No, totally. That's the thing about old trucks, I said. And then we broke for lunch by a pool for an hour. Everyone had these propane grills and grilled steak. Another coworker brought out Rudy, an ancient Chihuahua with an unsettlingly large penis. After lunch, someone took a nap in a car. And then I went back in and moved about 10 more piles of shit, and then we left early because our manager wasn't there. I was home at 3:45 p.m., and I felt great. I don't know, it was kind of fun. I said later that night to a friend, I'm sure it'll get harder though, right? The other shoe has to drop. A few days later, I still couldn't get a consistent response on what the remodel of the space we were in was going to be. Everyone agreed the space would be opened up and nice. The men on the site started digging a large hole. My job as the human garbage can continued, collecting dirt from the hole in the floor and debris from the ceiling hole, and then putting it into the dumpster, which is basically an above-ground hole if you think about it. I found that anytime they said the word chica, I would turn my head to see if they were talking about me. After they laughed at me the first time, I started to do it on purpose, and this went over extremely well. I dig a hole, but I used to work for Google. Oh, yeah, my Hinge dates would respond. Yeah, the hole is for a footer, which I think is just a foundation. Or wait, no, they're different. I don't know, but it's going to be for an open and really nice space. Actually, yesterday was pretty big for me. I was the only guy skinny enough to fit in between the rebar deep in the hole, and everyone clapped when I fit in there. Anyway, how's law school going? I wasn't getting a lot of second dates, but fuck them. The hole was weeding out the good ones for me. It was one small gift the hole was giving me before it really crushed me. I mean, I'd have to start hating it soon, right? And then apply for jobs. Although after a week or two, my arms looked fucking ripped. In like a high school field hockey player kind of way. And my shoulders and hips felt more aligned than they ever had when I was working a desk job. I was just smiling more in general. I was surprised at how often I could nap in my car at this job. Nobody tells you that about construction. The sunlight catching the mystery dust particles that now covered the interior of my Honda Fit. I was still so tired from having to wake up early. Things really took a drastic turn for the better, though, when I realized that if I offered to do a Tay run, it gave me a chance to go out and buy an afternoon cortado from Bluestone Coffee or a Diet Coke. Tay was the code word for beer, and it was always Tay time. There was Tay Azul, Tay Rojo, Tay Michelada, and they were always tall boys. That's the thing about construction. You can drink. It was weird I did not. It was also weird I didn't have any tools. Well, one time I brought a hammer, but I was too shy to bring it out and show everyone at the hole, which was also pretty weird, but it just stayed in my backpack. That one is huge, I said a few days later, while out at a movie with friends, looking at the hole at a construction site for a parking garage across the street. Okay, yeah, sure, my friend said. I had been actually digging the hole now for a week and was starting to notice holes more around LA. I appreciated them. Some of them are crazy deep. Think how long that would take. You got a hole tomorrow? A text would read. Yeah, I would respond. Damn, I was going to invite you to my clowning show. The hole was getting me out of plans I didn't want to go to without me needing to say anything. The hole was going to need to get worse fast or else I would never apply to another job, and it did not pay enough money. I would daydream about inevitably getting tetanus or having my foot crushed by a jackhammer or having concrete adhere to my teeth, causing them to fall out, and ultimately forcing me to return to a desk job that had benefits and didn't just pay cash. My 3:30 p.m. commute home in Silver Lake also started to change. Look at these fucking posers in their workwear who haven't even worked, I would think. My hammer loop has held metal. My Baller Hardware sweatshirt has been in a hole. I'm not like you. I own gloves. I'd think this to myself. The hole made me feel superior to creatives in LA, something I had always wanted, but had no idea how to obtain. I woke up when Pedro said, Eve. I had fallen asleep for a few moments beneath the floorboards because it took Pedro too long to pass me a wire. I woke up with a smile, and then a thought crossed my mind. Holy shit, do I like hole more than I like working at Google? I did notice that I didn't need to strain as much to feign interest in what everyone was talking about here, unlike all those Googlers with their highly specific hobbies. I never had to pretend to care about a foosball league, a failed bid on a Brooklyn brownstone, or an adult gymnastics class, and the Googler who had strained his wrists and collected disability because he was doing handstands in this adult gymnastics class. One time I came downstairs and Brown Eyed Girl was playing on the wireless speaker, and everyone was dancing, each in a different part of the hole. Some of them were drinking yellow ones, which is another word for Te Amarillo, which is a Pacifico. I mean, Google spent millions and hired fucking Fabio for one of our Christmas parties one time, and people still didn't dance. These guys were in a fucking hole. Maybe it was a worse job, but these guys were way better hangs. I brought a trendy little disposable camera, and they loved it. We all started taking photos with Rudy, his hog swaying back and forth as he walked. That's the Chihuahua. I showed them how to create stickers on their iPhone, and we spent the afternoon doing it, putting a sticker of a yellow one on everyone's messages and making it look like Rudy was fucking a message. That's hilarious. They asked about my coffee setup, and Omar was the only person in LA I spoke with who was actually interested in how I made a pour-over. So what? Being unemployed is just nice? And working a construction job can be nice? How was I going to apply for jobs? Where was my other fucking shoe? Drop, goddammit. After working on the site for about 3 months, that seems like an overestimate. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Pedro turn to Richard and ask, ¿Qué es su nombre? And then Richard looked at me and was like, Ethan? Evan. I had worked for this man for over 100 hours on a site that only had 3 other people, and he did not know my name. But now he finally did. The next day, we finished the hole. We drank tea around it, our feet dangling in it, kicking. A day after that, our hole, full of rebar and wood stuff, so that did something, failed an inspection for something. Reinspection apparently took months, so the available hours for someone with my specific skill set, a smile and functioning arms, ran out. The new site I could occasionally work at was an hour away, and that was enough to push me to start applying to jobs more aggressively. I would get texts from Omar, one of my coworkers, about how I left my disposable camera, or a photo of Adam in the hole. One time he mentioned I left my tool. I was confused until he sent me a photo. It was of one of those toy grabby arms. I had brought it in from my car to grab a piece of wood that had fallen in the hole one time. This chica finally had a tool. The hole paid me in cash to do a job that was pretty fun with some people that were really nice. I wasn't crushed. I wasn't reborn. I definitely did not suddenly want to do construction the rest of my life. And I did not learn any hard truths or lessons. I had gotten the best parts of construction and left early before any of the bad parts of construction. I appropriated construction successfully, which as a straight white man is not really an inspiring takeaway. And I know this, but I do think if you're looking for something to do or feeling stuck, consider hole. You can dig one. It won't change your hands. They'll be soft forever, but that's okay. Cool. Thank y'all.